my kitchen in Shetland, which is the most northerly part of the UK. I haven't done a video for a while, and I thought that I'd just finished dyeing for the day and it's a bit too windy to go outside in the garden. I've been trying to get the ground ready for the spring so I can plant seeds for the for vegetables, but it's a bit too windy, so I thought just before the light faded I would come on and record a video and let you know what's been happening here, and mainly to show you the new batch of yarn which has just arrived from the mill. So it just arrived a couple of days ago, and I've just managed to twist a few skeins, one of each colour, just to show you. So the latest batch I've got is mainly double knitting. So I completely sold out to the undyed double knit colours, so it's back in stock now, although slightly different colours than I had last year. So this year, this is it all here. So I think I'll show you them all together. So this time there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different shades. So what we do is I use the fleeces from our own sheep, and also I get from friends and neighbours as well. And each year, of course, it's really difficult to predict exactly what colours I'm going to get. A lot of the sheep are coloured, most of the sheep are white, so I generally have mostly white yarn. A lot of them are coloured, so it just depends how many coloured fleeces I have, what colours they are, and how they're blended together, what colours I get back from the mill. I really love this selection. You can see them there. So we've got the usual white, or I call that kexie. Kexie in Shetland is the hogweed, and it just reminded me of the creamy flowers. We have lots of that growing along the roads here. And then this one is the murret, which is just a natural brown. It's quite a warm brown. And then we've got the Shetland black, if you can see it there. So it's a really dark chocolatey brown. It's got a slight fleck through it, and so it's not just a flat colour. It looks more black on the camera there. So it's slightly a slight fleck through it. And then these ones here, these are the sort of greys, and this one here, this is one I call Clod, which is basically a really dark grey. It's quite a brown grey colour, and again lots of flecks in it, and it's really nice when it's knitted because it's got like a very it's not just a flat colour again. And these two greys are the ones which are blended, so it's some of the coloured fleeces blended with white to give these two greys. So these ones, this one I'm calling Hagery. I had a similar colour a few years ago, and a Hagery in Shetland dialect is a grey heron, the bird, the grey heron, which is a similar colour to that. We've got a pair of heron that overwinters on the croft here, so very often during the winter when we go down to the bottom of the croft, then the Hagerys lift and you can hear them calling. And then this one is Stain, which is the Shetland dialect word for stone, so just a grey stony colour basically. I haven't had time to wind any of them yet, hadn't had time to knit with any of them yet, of course. We're just going to be starting to twist them, and then we'll get them labelled, and then we'll get them on the website hopefully by next week. So that's very exciting, because I know a lot of people have been waiting for them. The colours this year isn't exactly the same as last year, as I mentioned, but hopefully you'll find something that's suitable for what you're looking for. Of course, every year you never get them exactly the same anyway. The other thing that I got, this is brand new this time. So last year I got a lace weight spun, and again mostly white. In fact, it was all white. I got a white batch of lace weight spun, and I dyed most of that. So this year I've got a little bit of grey lace weight. So there's just a limited quantity of that. But again, it's a lovely sort of stony colour. It's got the flecks through it again. It's not the flat colour, so that'll be really nice when that's knitted up. So yeah, so I'm excited to wind and try that one. I thought I would just share with you some of the knitting projects that I've been doing. I've been working on quite a big project recently, and that's something I can't show you at this stage, but I will show you some of the bits and pieces that I've been doing. I'm a bit of a, what would we say, I tend to have lots of things on at the same time. You'll see this dog moving around. Kate, come here a minute. And she's actually my dad's dog. So she comes to visit every day, and she's looking for the cats. That's why she's moving back and forth. Have you not seen any cats? Where is the cats, Kate? Where is the cats? So the cats are somewhere around. So she likes to come and basically just looks at them and watches them. So yeah, so one of the things that I've been doing, I think the reason I knit lots of different projects, I do get bored quite easily, I must say, but also I tend to like to have different things depending on what mood I'm in. So sometimes I just want to be able to sit down in the evening and not have to think at all. So that's when it's really nice just to have a bit of plain knitting. And especially when I'm designing things, you get to a stage when you really have to think about it and do lots of calculations, and then it's that can be quite hard work. So sometimes you want to just have something you can just pick up and not have to think too much about, and then that's it. Other times I want to have something a bit more challenging. What I'm knitting at the moment, this is a sleeve for another wearing cardigan. So last video I spoke about the wearing cardigan, or the cardigan mashup that I had made. So this is it here. So that's my cardigan that I made. It's sort of a hybrid between two patterns which are in my book, and this is the book here. So the book is Langsoond Shetland yarn, and there's two cardigan patterns in there, and this one, so there's the wearing cardigan and the scarpy cardigan, and they're basically the same from the armholes and up, but the body is slightly different. So the scarpy cardigan is short and fitted, and the wearing cardigan is more of a straighter version. But what I've done with this one, because I wanted to wear it with dresses and crop trousers, but I wanted it wider, is I did the body of the scarpy cardigan and the length, I should say, that I did the number of stitches for the wearing cardigan, and then the length of the scarpy gert, and then carried on just with the decreases from either of the patterns. And then I did the button bands from the scarpy gert cardigan, just so that I didn't have to then, because I had knitted a different length to the wearing cardigan, I didn't have to recalculate the buttons. So so you can actually download both of those patterns, and you get them both for the price of one. So if you go to Ravelry and you put, what you can do is put both of them in your basket, and you'll be charged just for one of them. So it just means that you can you know, use them interchangeably. So, and I've worn that a lot. I've you know, it's been one of the staples in my wardrobe, particularly with dresses. And this colour I knitted with, I think it was dyed with rhubarb leaves and logwood. So it's a sort of a grey, blue, green, depends on what colour I'm wearing. I have a dress which is dark green and the cardigan looks green, but when I wear it with a grey dress, then it looks grey, so it looks like I have several cardigans. So because I had been wearing it quite a lot, I thought it would be really good to have another one the same. So I've started knitting it in the Shetland black. So this is the double knit. This is Shetland black from last time. I just saved myself a few skeins. So I've done the body, so that's the body there. So I've got the body, and it's worked back and forth, and then you knit the sleeves separately and then join for the body, and then you decrease. So it's all made in one piece after the sleeves and the body are joined. So I was doing really well, and a couple of weeks ago I joined the sleeves and I started decreasing and did all my setting up the raglan shaping, and then I realised I didn't have the right number of stitches. And once I counted and recounted and counted several times, I realised I had done the body in size 3, but the arms in size 2. So, and I wanted to do a size 3. So I'm having to take back all the sleeves and rework the sleeves, but that's quite an easy knitting project, so I don't mind too much doing that. It's when I get to the stage where I have to start counting, then I need to concentrate a bit. So hopefully it won't take too long to get that done. I think I'm nearly finished this sleeve, and this sleeve has to be, this one is finished as well. So we're nearly there with that. So that's the cardigan. Something I had been wanting to knit for a while was just a plain tank top. So I've knitted this one. I'm hoping it will be a pattern shortly. Often I find that actually writing the pattern takes longer than, well, it usually does, it takes longer than the actual knitting of it, and it's the less enjoyable bit. So very often it tends to be the thing that sort of gets left behind, as you would say. So this is a prototype very much, because I just sort of knitted it and worked it out as I went along. When I did the neck, when I tried it on, it was far too tight, even though I had calculated it and worked it out. So it was far too tight. So what I did, rather than pulling everything back and re-knitting it, what I did was I worked out where I would like the neck, and then I picked up the band and knitted it. So there's actually, you can see in here where the original neck was, or where I had originally dropped for the neck. So there's an extra piece of fabric there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the sewing machine and stitch along there, and then I'll cut that. And it just means it's a way that you can sort of put a neck on something without having to calculate too much first before you actually knit it. But I will, obviously, if I'm going to do a pattern, I'll have to go back and work out the sizes and things. But for the prototype, I thought, well, that gives an idea where the neck would be, and how many decreases there would be. And it's something I'll wear myself anyway. So that's the tank top. This one was knitted in the shade Claude. It's been knitted in double knit as well. So you can look out for that in the future, hopefully. When I was travelling at the end of last year, I started knitting a cowl. This cowl pattern is it's on my Ravelry page. It's called the Break Cowl, and it's a free pattern. It's the Horseshoe pattern. So the Horseshoe is one of my favourite lace patterns. It's so repetitive, and it's quite easy to get into the swing of it, and you can remember it. And after a few repeats, I find that you don't need the pattern. You can just sort of see where the lace, the holes need to go, basically, and you can kind of get into your rhythm. And this is the sort of thing I really like to take when I'm traveling, something I don't have to think about too much. I do this on a circular needle rather than the double points, and it's just something you can pick up and do a few rows. Every second row is a knit row, which is always good as well. And this here uses one skein of the double knit, so it's a really good way if you've got one skein or you fancy one skein. This was a skein that I had. It was just one that, you know, didn't have any more the same. So I thought, well, that would be quite a nice thing to do with it. This was dyed with dock leaves and indigo. So it's a colour that I'll have again in the summer once the dock leaves grow. See, you can see it's a bit, so they're sort of variegated. It's a sort of a teal blue, and it's so this still needs to be blocked. I've just cast it off. I think the needle is actually still hanging from it. Just cast it off, and once it's blocked, it really will show the pattern. This here, this white one here, is one I made a little while ago, and that's it blocked, so you can see the difference. So when you don't block it, then you can't really see the knitted pattern, and it's all curled up, and you don't see that definition in the peaks. So, but once it's blocked, you get those nice peaks at the bottom and the top, and it just makes all the patterns show up much better. So again, this was just one skein of double knit. I do have a version as well for the finger and weight, so it's just basically exactly the same. Excuse me. Hi, sorry about that. I realised I'd stated the obvious when I said the dog was barking. She saw the neighbours, so and decided to alert me. So yeah, so I have this break cowl pattern. I have it in 4-ply or a jumper weight version as well, and it's just the same exactly the same pattern, but that one has less stitches to give you the same size, and it's a really good way of using up your single skeins. And just I really like a cowl in the winter. Sometimes I wear a cowl and the scarf, or maybe even have two. It just stops the wind getting inside your jacket. And break is the name of the craft where I live. So that's this was actually the very first pattern that I published. It was one of the very first wool weeks that I attended, probably back in, I don't know, 2013 or something like that. And I had made a cowl like this using jumper weight yarn, and I was wearing it at the class that I was attending, and somebody had seen it online. Somebody took a photo of me and put it on, and people started asking me what the pattern was, and I was like, well, it's just the horseshoe repeated. So I wrote it up as just a basic pattern, and published it. So that was the first pattern that's ever been published, and it's still free. And the horseshoe pattern is one that I really like using. Anybody that's familiar with my patterns in my book, I use it in the blanket pattern, the break blanket. Yeah, it's called the break blanket. Yeah, can't remember. Yeah, the break blanket, it's used in there, and also the Lydian shawl, it's used in there as well. It's a really nice pattern because you can be clever with your decreases, and the decreases actually work within a decreasing pattern as well, if that makes sense. So so those are the cowls. This hat pattern, so this is one that I made for Shetland Wool Week last year, and this is Matt's hat, and it's made with the double knit, and it uses one skein of the Claude colourway and then a few of the undyed mini skeins, a few of the dyed mini skeins, naturally dyed. The pattern is in the Shetland Wool Week Annual. So every year they produce an annual, and there's patterns in here from local designers, there's articles, and it's usually a really nice publication. And so in here we've got the pattern for Matt's hat, so that's it there, and we've got the chart there. So Matt's hat, my partner is Matt, and 2 years ago he wanted a hat for his birthday, which is in March, and I thought I had started it in plenty of time, but by the time March came I had only managed to knit the rib. So what I did was I took the rib and the needles and everything and the balls of yarn, and I wrapped it up and put a note in it, said please return and I'll finish it for you. So he got a sort of a deconstructed hat, I suppose you would say. His original one was done with colours that he had chosen, which was sort of dyed from the garden. So there was greens and yellows and nettles and docks, and he's worn it so much. I think he's worn it nearly every day. In Shetland, we tend to even wear woolly hats in the summer because there's always a bit of a cold wind, and I think he's worn it every day, so it's pretty faded. So I have recently made him another one, but he's got it, so I can't show you that at the moment. But this was based on that original pattern. I did have kits in the shop. They're sold out, but I will, now that I've got the new batch of yarn, then I will get some kits made up and in the shop shortly. What I've done for the mini skeins is just made up the small skeins with the amount that you need, and so and the next time it might be slightly different. So the kits might be slightly different depending on which colours is available. So I think this light stain one, that'll be slightly darker. And that's just how it is when you're working with undyed yarns and naturally dyed yarns as well. Everything will be slightly different. So yeah, so that's Matt's hat. The Wool Week Annuals are on my website. So they're in the online shop. There's lots of really interesting articles. So there's articles here on ganzis, which is a sort of a more of a patterned jumper, rather than, so it's used as one colour rather than the two colours of Fair Isle. There's lots of lovely patterns. For example, pattern for mittens, and we've got a pattern for this. Oh yeah, this pattern here that by Betsy Williamson, that uses my lace weight yarn. So so now that I've got it in stock, then I can get some more dyed up, because last year I sold out once the annual came out. So yeah, so that's always a really nice publication. I think if there's anything else, I'll just double check. No, I think that's everything I was going to show you. It's the light is fading now, so I'm going to go and take the dogs for a walk before it gets too dark. It's the nights are really getting so much better now, so they're so much lighter, so we can get out to walk just before tea time now. And so I'll go and do that, and I'll hopefully be back shortly with another video very soon. Thank you then, bye.